There are 3 times more firms doing traditional buyout private equity now than there were 12 years ago. And indeed, this asset class is incredibly attractive to limited partners, 50% increase in assets under management in the last 4 years alone. At the same time, LBO transaction volumes are increasing. We see that over the last decade, about 10% or so increase in transaction volumes. But interestingly, at least outside North America, those traditional targets of privately held companies have actually declined by some amount. And at the same time, we all know that private equity sponsors are sitting on more dry powder than ever before. In an LBO, traditional buyout, 1.3 trillion at least is sitting on the sidelines. And that doesn't count growth equity and real estate and all the other fund strategies. To sum up, there are more firms now with more AUM, looking after more deals in a world in which they have a fiduciary duty to deploy more capital and drive returns to LPs.
So we conducted primary and secondary research to start to understand from you, right, where and how you're reacting to some of the challenges in the market. We looked at a wide array of private equity firms from the small to the large, as you can imagine, and we wanted to have pretty even division between what I would call deal operating partners and the deal team. Overwhelmingly, 50% of you said it's getting more complex out there, and roughly 70% believe it's either more complex or going to continue to be more complex.
So listen, we tried to sum this up into what are the 3 things private equity firms are doing to respond to this? What are all of you doing to respond to this? The first is you're doing a lot more complex deals. You're doing more carve-outs, you're doing more roll-ups, you're doing more new companies in a box than you ever have before. You're spending a lot more time and effort deploying traditional playbooks to drive operational value creation. And finally, some of you at least are beginning to explore novel ways of developing value, new ways of deploying capability, new ways of partnering with your portfolio company executive teams to bring the LP returns that they expect. And in addition, of course, there's an increased number of specialist fund strategies coming out, and indeed niche sponsors who are really micro-focused, which poses the question to large generalist firms what to do in response. And large generalist firms are tending, of course, to increase their institutional capability, become more institutional in their value creation processes, and more repetitive in deploying those in support of their management teams over time.